All right. What's
And that's
next up?
oh yeah, trailers.
No, no. The major news
Yes.
will be so. Uh, year or two ago, it came out about a lawsuit on the movie Inside Out regarding filmmaker Damon Pashurian, Pashin, who lived in Ontario, made a college film about a kid whose life is dictated by his organs, so his brain, uh, its intestines, stomach, heart. I forget. I think lungs might have been the other one. But yeah, um, so they would all talk to each other and try to make the right call so that he could live his life as well as possible. Sound familiar at all much?
A little
Uh,
bit.
Now, granted, Inside Out doesn't do organs; it just has different characters that represent the different emotions of the character Riley in the movie Inside Out. But the smoking gun, in which Damon is attributing to why he's calling his connection out, is that lots of Disney animators that eventually went to work for Pixar came from that college. And Disney and Pixar had a close relationship with Sheridan College, which he had went to school with. And plenty of the people that worked on Inside Out would have known about his project and known the existence of it when they were going to school together. So
Ooh.
that is um, we'll see what happens. But recently, a Canadian court ruled in his favor that he can go forward with the. Disney was trying to just get it dismissed on fallacious grounds, and that's no longer Canadian court cited in his favor that no, there's enough evidence here to proceed. So this is not saying that automatically he's going to get whatever he's asking for, but actually, and this actually seems pretty reasonable to me. He's just asking for a
Yes.
writing credit. That was the biggest one. Just like, hey, can you
Oh,
just
good.
acknowledge that?
Because
Like,
if he was going to get a financial reward, I was actually waiting for Chuck Palahniuk to sue him.
yeah, I was also gonna say like it's also not even what he's saying is not when he did his in 2000s. Like this is still not and a completely original idea. It's like that's
Yep.
to be fair, but I think his focusing on the relationship is smart. It's like, look, that he's like, I know some of these people have known me and my project, and I know they worked on Disney stuff and that movie in particular. Like, come on.
I am Damon's failing liver.
So James Gunn recently during the media circuit, and this also will bring up Jason Momoa as well. They talked about a year. Was it a year ago? Was it right before the pandemic? I think it might have
Yep.
been right after Endgame or something came out. So it might have been like the end of 2019. Irishman was coming out. Scorsese talked about Marvel movies being like good popcorn flicks, being really good amusement rides, but not really having a lot of substance. Uh, Gunn, I'll succinctly say, Gunn said it was basically trying to get publicity for the Irishman.
Yep.
And I don't, I mean, he's
I'm
not
not. I don't.
wrong.
No.
But
Hey, you want to see a real movie? Go tune into Netflix. See The Irishman. That's a real movie.
hey, if I'm going to get 3 hours or something, I'd rather watch the Irishman than
Then
give up
Endgame.
4 hours to, was it? No, give up 4 hours to
Snyder. Yes.
Snyder. Yeah. And then Momoa, I'll say what Momoa said because I got the quote. It's like how people say music is poppy and this music is cool, but you know how hard it is to get your music out there for people to hear. But it's subjective. I try not to pick on anything. So yeah, superhero movies are bubblegum, but they're like Greek mythology. They have good and evil and heartbreaking moments. And gosh, you're taking away from other art forms if you stop making them. You're taking away visual effects. You're taking away what we can do with makeup. I'm not someone who gets hired to play in a lot of cinema, but by being able to do a superhero movie, I can make a movie about something I really care about. I have a vision for the whole totality of Aquaman. There are environmental issues that I get to put into it. So while you're going, oh yeah, it's just a popcorn movie, I'm like, well, I get to open people's eyes to things that are important to me.
Yep.
And I'm assuming he's talking about the upcoming Aquaman 2 because he's getting more involved in the process of that than the James one, the first one, where it's a little more straightforward on that one. Um, and I think that's fair. The superhero movies can be a platform to get some ideas out there,
True.
but
But also it's American mythology. You know, Alex Ross has a coffee table book about that. In that, the Superman is Apollo, Wonder Woman's Artemis,
yeah,
Batman is Hades. it just, there are parallels to that, and that's one thing I wanted to see happen with American Gods was,
yeah.
I mean, the licensing nightmare from that would have been impossible, but like, imagine, there's, this whole this, all the gods are fighting each other, and then all of a sudden Soups and Cap show up, or something along those lines. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Hey, if HBO Max picks it up,
yeah.
I know we're gonna get the Nazi Boys, so we're gonna get some continued spinoff a little bit. But all right, we are almost done. We got 2 more stories, and then we can wrap with Scarlet, or I can wrap with Scarlet if you got to go to bed. But this last one, Indira Varma, who's played on Game of Thrones, is going to be starring in the upcoming Obi-Wan show on Disney Plus. I know they meant well with this comment. It did not hit my ears well. So they're just trying to say that they appreciated the approach to storytelling that was happening on Obi-Wan. Felt like it reminded them of being on an indie film set, an indie production. And I need to explain why this hit my ear wrong, because the optics of someone saying it on a massive set that is funded by one of the biggest conglomerates in the world and lacks for nothing. Or probably is the biggest. I mean, okay. Wants for nothing, doesn't have to struggle for funding, doesn't have to try to pitch their idea to multiple people to even get 50% funded. Sorry, it just didn't. So again, maybe that is what they felt. Maybe that's what they really felt like it was, and they've got some history of doing other movies and shows. So I'm not really trying to. To be clear, I'm not really trying to dig into Indira specifically. It's just I don't like those optics. I didn't like the comment in regards to. There's a lot of people that have been struggling, especially this past year or so, to even create their smaller projects. So that it just didn't hit me well. So other people might read it and be like, "Oh yeah, that's kind of cool." That's just why it didn't hit well with me.
I think it's. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that she's talking about like the agility of the set. Oh wait, we can't do this because this is happening. Well, then let's make this happen, or so, something along those lines. But but yeah, like funding is a huge piece that really sets the tone for a movie, for a production set, and it's. I don't know how many indie films Indira has been in, but like I could imagine a lot of them are like, no, we need to get this shot today because we don't have a budget for tomorrow, type of thing. And I bet you that never happened on the Obi-Wan set.
Yeah. So, appreciate the sentiment. I can't get behind it. Last story. I had a James Gunn story I was going to do, but we'll talk about it. And Joel Kinnaman. We'll also talk about that later because that needs more context. I was going to launch into that. I was like, yeah, we do not have time for that one. But it is an important story regarding a restraining order and hopefully not another bit of nonsense. I'm so tired of reporting on Activision and Blizzard that I'm really hoping that's not what that story goes into, but I need to give it a little more research. Something that'll make Tom happy though. There is a 6-hour cut of Dune.
Cool. Let's do it.
I want it. Give it to me. Give it to me, Warner Brothers. Momoa has talked about he would love to see this get released. Has been stomping for it on the press circuit. I mean, like, yes, please. That he's like, this is amazing. Like, the people should see this version of it. So, are we going to get a 6-hour theatrical? No, we're not. We're not going to get that. Just that'd be insane.
Well, hold on. Let's not put Snyder fans out to pasture yet.
What I'm saying is though, but since this is going to be simul released on HBO Max, is it crazy to think that we could get 2 versions? Get the theatrical version on HBO Max and in theaters, and then get the 6-hour cut on HBO Max.
Yep.
I mean, as much as we've maligned, going back to your Snyder comment, as much as we maligned them, that it at least shows that you could release that if there's interest and people will go watch it and still get like a significant attention to it. Whether it was worth it for them, that's a whole nother conversation. As far as like actual tangible amount of like streams and stuff like that. But yeah, I would please, Warner Brothers. I've been mad at you for a lot of things. If you do this one though, Momoa is right. Please just get that. If I have to buy a Blu-ray, I'll do that too. If you're like, hey, we'll print some out, I'll do that too.
Yeah, and for fans that are just like, hey, didn't you just crap all over Snyder for doing the same thing for 4 hours? I'm like, yeah, but we also know that Snyder doesn't know how to tell stories. And we were right that the majority of the additions that were made were just, cinematography masturbation.
Yeah, it's gratuitous.
Whereas I think there are story elements that Denny wants to talk to that ended up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, and y'all, it's still half of the book. Like I'm just sorry. This just makes me so happy.
Also, if you feel like there's not enough, watch the 2001 Sci-Fi Channel version.
Yeah,
because that's 8 hours.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. So this is not uncommon. This is just not. Yeah, this is not wild for it.